And really, both pitchers, both Damico and Valdez, have kept the ball down. And every once in a while, you got to change levels as a pitcher, and they have worked successfully up in the zone.
10 ground ball outs, 2 strikeouts for Damico in the game. For Valdez, five ground outs, 8 strikeouts. And Andrew Lorraine getting ready just in case Ismael tightens up. No balls and a strike. The word on Henry Rodriguez is he fouled the ball off his left big toe. And his status is day to day. And then finally called the game in Detroit, where Kansas City and the Tigers were battling. Tigers had 8 hits in 3 innings. Were leading 3-1 when Mother Nature intervened at Comerica Park. Grace had 3 hits last night. He's walked twice this evening and scored once. Ripped and fouled. 2-2.
Grayson got the head up right there. Fastball in, just through his hands. Grayson's starting to heat up a little bit. Seeing that pitch inner half good and driving it to right field.
Montreal got 3 in the 9th to beat the Phillies 3-2. Vladimir Guerrero hit another home run.
Imagine that.
His 10th of the year. What a player he is. Gracie sends that one toward the right center field gap. Burnitz is there, however. Makes the grab, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit. 1 man left. We go to the 6th. Will Ismael Valdez stride back to the mound? We shall see in a moment. Is Cubs Quarterly. It also previews this year's NL Central Division. Features a yearbook-style photo gallery of the 2000 Cubs, and it includes 9 free bound-in baseball cards. Purchase your copy of Cubs Quarterly at Wrigley Field or call 773-404-CUBS. And remember to always look for the official Cubs publication logo on the cover. Ismael Valdez very gingerly walking out to the Wrigley Field mound. Great night for a little chocolate cake in the raindrops. And just in case, Lorraine continues to loosen in the Cubs bullpen. Valdez came up a little bit gimpy as he rounded second base after a sacrifice bunt by Eric Young.
And he took a long time to get back out. I'm sure the Cubs trainers, Dave Thomas and Steve Melendez, taking a look at him, making sure he's all right. And again, Chip, it's better on his right leg. If he's got a little strain in his right hamstring, it's much better than in the left leg, because that left leg, boy, you extend, you got no chance of getting out over your front foot.
Apparently he feels all right, ready to go. He's pitched very well tonight. He's given up a couple of runs on 3 hits, one of them a Burnitz home run, and he'll see Jeremy again here in the 6th inning. Loretta will lead it off. He's 0 for 2, but has played a sparkling defensive shortstop all series long for the Brew Crew. Down and in for ball 1. Pitching matchups the rest of the series. Kevin Tapani, Jason Beret hook up tomorrow afternoon. Then Thursday, Scott Downs against Steve Woodard, who is winless on the year. Then we go to Montreal. A house of horrors for the Cubs, his Olympic Stadium. But what a 3-game rotation we'll have. Wood, Lieber, and Valdez. But I don't know if the Cubs are going to be able to get Valdez out of this inning now. Dave Tumbas out again to talk to our right-hander. There's no need to push this thing now. If there's any doubt at all about him being able to go, get him out of there. Because as soon as he starts favoring that leg, then you start worrying about the shoulder, and that's it. Yeah, Andrew Lorraine's going to come in. Don Baylor cannot take any chances with Ismael Valdez at this point in the season. So he's worked 5 very good innings tonight. He struck out 8, gave up 2 runs, and will leave with a 2-ball, no strike count to Mark Loretta. Andrew Lorraine is on. And we will update you on the condition of Valdez. It appears to be a hamstring. Hopefully nothing serious. It's our prime code call to the pen. Lorraine for Valdez. Back in a moment.
I'm not in right now. Please leave a message.
Tom? It's your father, Tom.
But an apparent leg problem has sent him to the dugout. Now Andrew Lorraine comes out of the bullpen to pitch for the Cubs. And he will get as much time as he needs to get loose on this windy and wet night at Wrigley Field. And Dave, as well as Valdez pitched tonight, boy, that could be another just totally devastating blow to this ball club if he suffers any kind of a setback at all for the Cubs. Tonight, 8 strikeouts, no walks, 3 hits in 5 innings.
Boy, Valdez was outstanding tonight. Second straight start where he's been able to flip up his breaking ball for strikes, and that's a big pitch for him. I think Don Baylor, it's a good move. Valdez probably could have gone more, but at the same time, there's nothing worse than you have an injured pitcher out there, and all of a sudden he gives up 2 or 3 base hits, and then you got to bring somebody in. So at least Lorraine in this situation has a fresh start. He's behind in the count 2-0, but at the same time, that's a heck of a lot better than coming in with men on second and third.
Yeah, I don't want to read any more into the situation than what we're seeing happen right now, but he is sitting on the bench stretching that leg out. He has not gone back to the trainer's room at the moment for further medical treatment. I don't know if that's good news, bad news, or indifferent news, but it does not appear that he's in any great pain right now, other than the disappointment of not being able to finish what he started here.
And again, Chip coming off, a mediocre outing his first time, and then coming back and dealing. And Dave Tumbas, Chip, you mentioned it. Dave Tumbas said, "Hey, get your rear end into the training room. We got to throw some ice on that leg."
Well, he does have a chance to win it, but now Andrew Lorraine and the rest of the Cub bullpen is going to have to dramatically turn around their fortunes. And Valdez departs with 8 punch-outs in the game.
And just working both sides of the plate. Got Loretta early on a good fastball in, and also Belliard. And then there's the breaking ball to Burnitz. And then away to lefty Barker. So he had good stuff tonight, Chip. Kept the ball down and threw his breaking ball for strikes.
So now Andrew Lorraine takes over out of the pen. He will try to become, for the Cubs, what Terry Mulholland was for us the first half of last season, and of course in that magical 1998 campaign. A valuable swing man who can spot start and relieve in any situation from the left side out of Don Baylor's bullpen. He'll face Loretta, and he misses with the first pitch, and as he inherited a 2-0 count, it's 3-0 and now 3-1.
And that's going to be big for a guy like Andrew Lorraine. Don Baylor's got to count on someone that doesn't pitch all the time, not in a regular, sometimes a long guy, sometimes a short guy like you mentioned, and to be able to go in there and throw strikes right out of the gate. And Lorraine loses Loretta, although he had 2 balls working against him.
And that walk is charged to Valdez. We hate to show you these numbers, but the Cubs bullpen has really struggled on the homestand. 27 earned runs in 10 games so far.
Well, on the positive side, Heredia threw the heck out of the ball last night. Brian Williams had a good outing. He's had a couple good outings in a row for Brian Williams.
So it's lefty against lefty here. Lorraine against Burnitz. And folks, let's not push this guy's hot button, because he has murdered us already in the series. Hit his 3rd home run last time up in the head-to-head matchup with the Cubs. And he waves and misses there.
Well, what I see out of Burnitz now is he's starting to attack the high pitch, tomahawk the ball, to hit it out of the ballpark. He's getting on top of some pitches. Earlier in the year, you could beat him upstairs.
Lorraine, a mystery to Milwaukee. Only Charlie Hayes has faced him, and he's not in the lineup at the moment. 0-2 pitch, reaches out one-handed, pokes that ball, and lines it into the seats. Foul and out of play. Again, the wind picking up again. Again, the wind blowing straight in. And again, it's raining nearly sideways at the ballpark.
Burnett's completely fooled by that Lorraine pitch. Breaking ball out over the plate. He's out on his front foot. Now they're going to take a shot here. Fastball away.
Didn't offer at it. And it's 1-2. Burnett's only 30 years old. He'll be a free agent at the end of the 2001 season. And folks, he is going to get a whole lot of offers. Struck him out of the outside corner. He'll have a seat. One man down. Big pitch.
Great pitch. Fastball away. Burnett's looking for something in, and he is completely buckled. And that good gas right on the outside corner.
He's hitting only .220 against southpaws, and he's out number one here. And Jose Hernandez, the batter. Jose hitting only .161 against left-handed pitching, and that is not like him. Usually it's the right-handers with that slider away that give him so much trouble. But it's been a real rough start to the season for Hernandez. He's hitting just .216 at the start of tonight's play.
Well, Hernandez looked bad on a breaking ball in the dirt last time against Valdez. But when you fall behind in the count, you can't take a shot in the dirt yet.
How about a double play ball from Hernandez? High and tight. 2-0 the count. Valdez, 5 innings, 3 hits, a couple of runs. The runner at first belongs to him. That was a walk charge to him here in the 6th. He struck out 8, gave up 1 home run, and hit a batter. The stretch now, the 2-0. Right through there, 2 balls and a strike. Brewers came in to this series dead last in the National League in hitting at .231. A pleasant surprise for them, however, has been their pitching. They're in the top 10 in the league. Most of that good work has been done by their bullpen. We saw that last night. They pitched pretty well before running out of steam late.
Well, no question about it. A guy like Wickman coming out of the bullpen's got that nasty turbo sinker, just a sinker that just disappears.
2 balls, 1 strike. 2-2.
Lorraine's doing a pretty good job against Hernandez. Threw a fastball in earlier in the count and then went off speed away. So now he's got him in between right now.
Well, Hernandez will strike out. We know that from his days here. 27 times for Milwaukee. The stretch now. Runner leads at first. The 2-2 is high. 3-2. And now we'll see if Loretta runs. It would be a calculated gamble with the big swing of Hernandez.
Well, if you can throw that changeup 2-2, you can certainly throw a 3-2, but they're going to take a shot in.
Loretta is going. The pitch popped up. Shallow right. Sosa will make the catch. There's out number 2. Back to first goes Loretta. And now it's up to Barker, who's 0 for 2, to advance the base runner. How tough is it, Dave, to be a swingman?
It takes a while to get used to that roll chip. Because what happens is when you move from the starting rotation into a reliever role, what happens is you show up at the ballpark every day with the same routine, and you end up getting mentally exhausted. You know, as a starter, when you're pitching every 5th day, you have your normal routine. As a reliever, you just got to show up at the ballpark. When that phone rings, start warming up and get into it. But if you try and treat it as a starter, you'll be a mental midget by the end of July. And Mulholland, you mentioned Terry Mulholland. He is ideal for that role. He's got the mental makeup, and hopefully Andrew Lorraine can fill that void here for Don Baylor.
Yeah, I think Andrew's pitched very well with the Cubs this season. And he goes crossfire again. Boy, that's a real big weapon against those left-hand hitters.
Especially when you drop down, you've got to make sure that it is on the outer half. Because as a hitter, Barker is going to bail and wail. Anytime a lefty drops down, it's difficult for a left-handed hitter to stay in. And if you throw a ball in and he's bailing out, he can still hit that pitch. He's going to go over the top now. And that was, I thought, a good time for Don Baylor to have Andrew Lorraine throw over, because this is a good place to run right here on an 0-2 count.
Runner doesn't go. Again, he goes crossfire, and this time he missed with it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 3 finals in the National League. Montreal, as we told you, beat the Phillies 3-2. Cincinnati shut out San Diego 2-zip. Same score in Pittsburgh, where the Mets beat the Pirates. Florida is making it close against the Braves. It's now 10-5 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Marlins are still batting. Colorado leads Houston 7-6 in the bottom of the 6th inning at Enron Field. Minnesota just got 6th. They lead Cleveland 6-5 after 6. Seattle all over Texas 10-3 after 6. KC and Detroit rained out. Big day today for James Baldwin of the White Sox. A 3-hit shutout. And he's perfect on the year. Another win for Baldwin pushes his record 6-0 as he beat Pete Shurik.
Well, right now James got a good feel of pitching.
Line drive up the middle. That's a base hit. Lorraine went sidearm perhaps once too often. So Milwaukee has him at first and third. With 2 men out, Marquise Grissom will be the batter.
Chip, you're exactly right. And that time Andrew Lorraine dropped down and he threw a slider. But the problem with this particular slider, it was flat. When you drop down, you got to make sure your body goes down with your arm. But it's difficult to get your fingers on top to get that good tilt on that slider. That pitch was flat, and Barker did a good job of staying in and driving the ball to center field.
So now be careful here. Marquise Grissom will be the batter. 0 for 2. Tapped back to the mound and struck out. And he looks at the ball outside. Grissom worked out this offseason with the legendary Bob Kersey. He of the Jackie Joyner Kersey fame. A personal trainer. Marquise, as always, looks to be in terrific shape. But his batting average and his power numbers have really suffered. But all would be forgotten for the Brewer faithful if he could drive home the game-tying run here. Cubs and Brewers in a tight 1-run, low-scoring game. And, folks, that's news. The outside corner. It's 2-1.
Andrew Lorraine worried a little bit about Barker at first base. Possible running situation. Andrew Lorraine quick pitched him that time. The problem sometimes, though, when you're too quick to the plate, you don't get your arm out there and get that good downward tilt.
Back up the middle. Young. Backhand stop. Can't get it. It's into center field. A run is in. Barker on his way to third. The game is tied. Loretta comes home with the third Milwaukee run, and Grissom comes through with 2 outs to tie it at 3. Charge that one too, Valdez. It's a no decision for him.
And that's frustrating for Andrew Lorraine, because this ball is probably catchable by Lorraine, and it gets past Lorraine, and Eric Young can't find the ears. EY did a good job of giving a little ground there, to get to it, but just couldn't come up with it.
So it's a 3-3 game, and the Brewers threatening again with Ron Belliard, who's killed us tonight, a perfect 2 out of 2 with an RBI. 85 pitches for Valdez, 63 of them strikes.
Wow.
But again, he left with a problem with his right leg. It appeared to be a hamstring. Distress of some sort. And the fine trainer of the Cubs, Dave Tumbas, working on Valdez downstairs. As soon as he knows what the problem is, I'm sure we'll find out. One ball, no strikes. Ripped straight back.
Good hack.
Other scores quickly. It's 6-4 Toronto over Baltimore final. Yankees beat Tampa Bay in extra frames 4-3. And we told you the White Sox blanked Boston 6-0. How ironic is that? James Baldwin goes to 6-0.
Certainly Grissom is a running threat. Belliard fouled the last pitch straight back. And anytime you see a hitter foul a ball straight back, he's got your fastball centered. So if you're going to do something, you want to move it in.
Like that, but he missed with it. It's 2-1.
And one thing Cubs relievers, especially a guy like Lorraine, needs to do, he's got to be able to flip up something besides his fastball behind in the count.
Three balls and a strike.
Already in this inning, Andrew Lorraine has thrown 27 pitches.
.28 is out of play. Daniel Garibay gets up in the Cub pen. A 3-2 pitch. Grissom runs. It's grounded toward third. Shane Andrews nearly lost the handle. Throws on to first in time, and that retires the side. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left. After 5.5, it's a new ball game. It's 3-3. Whatever ball game, Eric Collins again is with us. Eric, what's news?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chip. Well, the folks up in Evanston are smiling tonight. There's only 2 Northwestern Wildcats in the major leagues, and they're both here in Wrigley Field tonight. Joe Girardi, of course, and Mark Loretta, the shortstop of the Milwaukee Brewers. I did some researching, and I think they're both smarter than me. Joe Girardi, his major was industrial engineering, and Mark Loretta, he was a business major. Not bad for a baseball player. He can count his money. Chip, back to you in the booth.
All right, Eric, thanks a lot.
Some rocket scientists.
What was your major?
Eligibility.
Kegology?
I survived.
You weren't the only one. Here we go to our 7th. Henry Blanco, first pitch swinging, and it's a base hit to left field. Big turn, he'll stop there. Ricky Gutierrez went all the way out to shallow left and fielded that ball, and you see Blanco fighting off the bumblebees. Our 7th inning stretch guest conductor will be Ryan Clifford. our Illinois High School Player of the Year in high school football. And what a career he had with Naperville Central High School. So Damico will bat for himself here. He's 0 for 2. Hit the ball pretty hard last time, up flying out to center.
Shane Andrews is in his back pocket.
That ball bunted twice. And it's a foul ball for strike one. Again, Damico's injury list is like the perks in Dave Otto's contract. It's a long, long, long list of various arm and shoulder ailments. But here he is again, just 24 years old. He is in many ways their Kerry Wood. Doesn't throw his arm. Doesn't have the mesmerizing fastball. But you can see this kid has a real good idea of how to pitch. And that has rapidly become a lost art in many quarters in Major League Baseball these days.
Well, especially when you're a big guy, you've got a lot of moving parts, and he's been able to keep it simple tonight, not getting too out of whack mechanically.
Baltimore, as we told you, was beaten at Toronto today. Cal Ripken Jr. was the DH tonight. First time in Cal Ripken's career he was the designated hitter. Baltimore's lost their 13th straight game at the Skydome.
Chip, to me, that consecutive game streak, that is unbelievable.
Well, that one still might be breakable. The one that I don't think anybody's going to get is Cy Young's wins record.
Oh.
A bunt, and it's right toward Reed. He'll make the play. Good sacrifice. 2-3 to put out. Blanco the go-ahead run at second with one out here in the seventh inning.
We look at the game summary up to this point. Sosa with a 2-run double down the left field line. Jeremy Burnett's got all over a high fastball for a solo home run in the fourth. And as we talked about, Jeff Damico up to this point dealing. And Ismael Valdez leaves after 5+ innings with a bad hamstring, but he threw the ball well.
So a base hit opportunity for Mouton, who could untie this 3-3 game in the seventh. Mouton 0 for 3. And Lorraine misses with ball one.
I just don't see how James Mouton can get after a pitch on the outer half.
I mean, his left foot's almost out of the right-hand batter's box. But look how he strides in. That left foot ends up about 8 inches away from home plate. He closes himself off.
And some guys that stand that far away creep on you a little bit. They actually move their feet. One guy that comes into mind is a guy, Hal Morris. Hal Morris would stand that far away from the plate and then move his feet as the pitch is being delivered.
Yeah, it's almost like he walks into the baseball as it comes toward the plate, which is real funky looking. 2-0. Here it comes. 3 balls, no strikes. Mark Guthrie is up in our bullpen, and Garibay joins him. Brian Williams not up. It's Guthrie and Garibay. 3-3 game. We're in the seventh. Right through there, 3-1. Mike Hampton got a big win tonight. And the headline on the Associated Press story says, after spending 2 days with his dad and 15 minutes talking to Tom Seaver, Mike Hampton finally pitched like the Mets thought he could. 8 1/3 shutout innings as the Mets blank the Pirates 2-0 tonight.
Chip, that's amazing. All of a sudden a light goes off in your head and you find it again.
3-1 here to James Mouton, and again time is called. Big story for Hampton in this game tonight. He only walked one man. He has had real bad control in his first starts with New York.
Well, he was all over the place the times that I've seen him this year.
Yeah, walked 9 of us in Japan. 3 balls and a strike. Cubs 3, Brewers 3 in the 7th inning. Over but low, ball 4. Lorraine's second walk. Make that his first walk, I beg your pardon. And out to the mound is Jeff Reed. Andrews given up 3 hits to go along with that lone free pass. But the double play now in order if Loretta can comply for Milwaukee. He scored the 3rd Brewer run back in the 6th. Lorraine making his second appearance out of the bullpen. Facing Loretta here. And again, time is called.
Boy, it's so difficult to pitch when you don't have a good rhythm. And right now, Andrew Lorraine's searching for that rhythm.
Two on, 1 out. Over but low, ball 1. Lorraine's allowed just 1 run in 2 innings and 2/3 out of the bullpen for us. A .429 ERA in 17 major league relief outings. But he has a look like he doesn't really want to throw the baseball right now, and he's got a lot of company down in the bullpen right now.
And hitters sense that.
One ball, no strikes.
Good job. He let that one loose, Chip.
Let's see if he can let another one loose. Over the outside corner. 1-2.
Boy, what a difference. The last 2 pitches, the ball is jumping out of his hand. He's getting good extension. Now, Greg Gibson, close calls on a couple pitches to Mouton. Lorraine didn't get, then all of a sudden you get a little tentative. But Lorraine got back after it.
1-2 pitch. Golfed. Foul. I mean, on a day like today, this ballpark is playing like the Astrodome. It's a gigantic place. Burnett's homer notwithstanding, you really are going to have to crush the ball to get it out of the ballpark. So this is a time where you don't want to nibble. Throw it. Hit the corner, obviously. Keep it off the fat part of the bat. But allow him to put the ball in play. It might get hit to somebody, and you might get out of the jam. Or hit the corner like that and have Loretta walk back to the dugout in disgust. Good heat on the outside corner, out number 2.
Chip hit it right on the head. Fill the strike zone up. And he worked Loretta in earlier in the count. And then got him away and buckled him.
So out comes Don Baylor. Andrew Lorraine will give way to fellow southpaw Mark Guthrie. There are 2 outs in inning number 7. Time for another call to the pen. We'll see how Guthrie fares against Jeremy Burnitz right after this. Sports Report. Highlights include James Baldwin's great effort against the Red Sox, Game 2 between the Knicks and the Heat, and the Flyers and the Penguins, with that series on the line tonight. The National Sports Report only here on Fox, and it's coming up right after our ball game tonight at Wrigley Field. Third pitcher of the night, left-hander Mark Guthrie takes over. He'll face Jeremy Burnitz.
Guthrie over 17 games, 2-2 record with a 4.41. Mark Guthrie early on in the year was dealing. Last couple times out, not as impressive, but I like the way Guthrie's throwing as far as his mechanics. He's getting back to what made him a good pitcher before. I think for a while he fell into a little bit of a rut, worried about his mechanics. Now he's got that herky-jerky delivery back. He's got his hands full right here.
You bet. This guy's tough. However, Burnitz struggling against left-hand pitching. Was called out on strikes back in the 6th inning. Lorraine threw a lot of pitches, however, and Guthrie delivers a ball. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, what Lorraine did to Burnitz, he flipped up a couple breaking balls away, and then he dotted him on the outside corner with a good fastball.
Guthrie has inherited 17 runners. 9 of those 17 have scored. And he's given up 4 runs in his last 3 innings and a third. So big spot, but he's down 2 balls, no strikes. And the big Laredo curveball. There, Burnitz missed it by a foot.
That was filthy. 2-0 breaking ball. Jeremy Burnitz sitting dead red, looking for a fastball. Completely fooled.
Inside, ball 3. Jose Hernandez is on deck. Game still tied at 3. Blanco at second. Mouton at first. The 3-1 breaking ball fouled away.
And that was ball 4, and Burnitz knew it.
Big day in Cub history today, back in 1963. First the 3-2 pitch to Burnitz. Runners go. It's outside, ball 4. And now the bases are loaded. 1963, Ernie Banks became the first National League first baseman to register 22 putouts in a game. The Cubs beat the Cardinals 3-1 on Don Cardwell's 2-hitter. Talk about a man that was doing some pitching that day. Don Cardwell sure was. Speaking of him, Museum of Broadcast Communications at the Chicago Cultural Center will inaugurate a new TV flashback screening series Monday, May 15th from noon to 1. And one of the museum's oldest tapes, the May 15th, 1960 no-hitter by Don Cardwell, will be shown. It was his first appearance with the Cubs after being acquired from the Phillies. Jack Brickhouse will have the call at the Museum of Broadcast Communications at the Chicago Cultural Center, Michigan Avenue at Washington Street. So the base is loaded for the Brewers. Burnitz at first, Mouton at second, Blanco at third, the game even at 3. And Hernandez digs in and takes Ball 2. 3 outs. Fans getting restless.
Reiner did a good job the first pitch in the sequence to save a run, bouncing around behind the plate and blocking what could have been an easy run for the Brewers.
And here's a guy that's been pretty good this year for Milwaukee with men in scoring position. 292 on the year. However, with 2 outs, Hernandez only 2 for 10. So he has a chance to put the Brewers in front. And he's ahead 2-0. Ball 3. And why, you ask, would Don Baylor leave the left-hander in to face Hernandez in this situation? Well, Hernandez against left-handed pitching, batting a whopping 161. But all that's moot if Guthrie can't find the strike zone. 3-1.
All the way back.
Hernandez can zone in. 3 balls and a strike. Here it comes. Line out of play, 3-2. So for Mark Hall will be forgiven if he can retire Hernandez here. Everybody will be moving with 2 men out.
And Jose on that pitch looking for something to drive out over the plate. Right now, Jose Hernandez is locked in to driving the ball to right center.
Can Guthrie make the biggest pitch of the game for the Cubs? There go the runners. 3-2. Bouncing ball up the middle. Gutierrez. Fields flips. In time, inning over. Milwaukee strands 3. The game's still tied at 3, and we'll welcome Ryan Clifford, the Illinois high school player.